This is modern homesteading.
Hey baby, could you water the garden for me? Please?
Sure, I'll water your garden.
What?
Up with some eyes, you'll be staring out.
Guess that's one way to water the flowers.
King shadow cast on the covers of your...
This is my slip-in skid-mounted fire suppression tank that goes in the back of my truck. Unfortunately, it no longer fits. The reason why it doesn't fit is because I've reconfigured the back of my truck a little bit. I've got my weather guard toolbox installed, and that takes up a couple feet of bed space. So I've got 70 inches here. Also got an extra spare tire mounted. I got 70 inches there, so we need to cut down that skid so it fits, because I want to be able to close the tailgate and have room for the pump. So let's get to work. So in the bed of the truck I've got room for 70 inches of payload, so I'm going to cut this down to 70 overall using a Sawzall, and then we'll rebuild the ends and mount the tank and pump. These supports I'm using, these are just pallet racking cross members. I have a whole bunch of them, so I use them for different things. And I do want to cut the ends off. You can see how that they stick down there a little bit lower, and reattach those. Reason being is in the back of my truck I've got brackets for a fifth wheel. And if I don't have those ends, which stick down a little bit farther, supporting the four corners, this thing will teeter-totter, and I don't want that, so I want it to touch on all four corners. So I'm going to use, to make this cut, a plasma torch. Plasma torch is a really nice thing for a shop because it is a good way to cut metal, and it doesn't use any gases, so that it's pretty affordable to use. It just runs off electricity and compressed air. So here's the end, the gun that you use, and we'll use this and we'll cut these brackets off nice and cleanly, and then reattach them with the MIG welder. So I have just enough room to mount my fire pump on the end of the skid here. So I'm going to use these 2x4s and bolt these directly to the skids and mount the fire pump. So I've got the pump installed and I've got the intake all hooked up. I've got this little plastic tote that I'll just mount on here with some screws and washers for holding appliances and all different types of things, keep them from bouncing out of the back of the truck. That there is going to be super handy. So I got the tank secured to the skids. I just use these ratchet straps. Got the WH-20X Honda high pressure pump mounted and ready to put in the truck. I like to try to keep things as modular as possible. In other words, not welding the tank, not fixing everything so I can't take it off and use it for other things. So that's kind of why I do it. It's going to be a rare chance that I even use this thing, so I don't want to wrap up all my equipment and get it all tied down in this. So let's lift it up, slide it in the back of the truck. I got to figure out a way to secure it to the truck so it doesn't slop around. Put some water in it and see how it goes. I've got the tank full, and I just realized I've got to change the position of the outlet because it's pointing into the tank there. This is a really nicely designed pump that gives you some few options here, isn't it? So this is Honda's biggest high pressure pump, and I've got this coming down, coupled down to 1.5 inches. That should be enough. And we'll push the outlet right out the back now. This is not the biggest fire pump, or certainly not the best fire pump you can get, but it's a good homestead fire pump. It's a Honda, and you just can't get much better than that. If you want a pump that you can just rely on to start and run and work, and this is the one. Alright, so I just took the truck for a test drive. It actually handles it very well. It's pretty heavy load, but it's just sitting down on the overloads. You can see they're just barely touching them. So that's good. It's a heavy load, but it's not too much for the truck. So I want to show you the hoses and the appliances that I spec'd out and why, to make this as versatile as I can. I've got 200 feet of 1.5 inch, and I've got 100 feet of 1-inch forestry hose. And I'll show you the fittings and how it all hooks together. So the outlet on this pump is 2-inch, and I've got it reduced down here to 1.5 inches. This is a standard American pipe thread. So first thing we need to do is to convert these threads to the NPSH. It's a broader thread. It's more universally used throughout the fire department. So we'll convert that. Now we're 1.5 inch proper threads. This fitting here would go on next. This is called a water thief. It goes, you can see in there, it's got a splitter in it, and also it's got a little 1-inch that you can steal off of it. Right there. I'll show how that works here in a second. So we'll put the water thief on, make sure it's closed. Okay, from here we can connect the 1-inch forestry lines, and on this other end here we've got a full 1.5 inches. So I've got fittings also where I could run 2 forestry lines. So I could run a 1-inch line off of there, a 1-inch line off of there, either way. Also, I've got 2 fittings that I could hook this up to a traditional 3/4 inch garden hose. Both of these, like this. So all this is designed to be really versatile. So whatever you have or whatever you need, you've got the right fittings. So here we have 2 3/4 inch garden hoses that we can run off of. In addition to that, the my department, local department, and as far as DNR, the state foresters and forest fighters, they use this type of a fitting, this 1/4 turn twist locks. So if I were to need to use some of that or help them in any way like that, I could thread this on here, and now I can pump out to the 1/4 turn 1.5 inches. So it's all about being versatile. Nozzles, 3 different types of nozzles. Got the standard 1.5 inch, just a plastic, cheap forestry. I don't know if these are forestry, just plastic nozzles there. Then we've got, of course, here a 1-inch standard forestry nozzle, and then a good quality solid brass garden hose sprayer. And you know, those have their place too. So that's essentially the fitting. So the nice thing about having this is I've got it set up so I can hook up 2 hoses, and I like that because you could always have one to protect the vehicle. So if you had some lines going out there and you were working with someone else and the fire got close, or you were worried about your vehicle, you could have a line tapped onto here out this water thief and have a 50 feet of 1 inch that you could use as protection. So let's hook it all up, put some hoses on here, and see how it goes. I've enlisted my helper here. Jack's going to be on the 1-inch forestry nozzle. I've got the 1.5 inch, 100 feet out there, both coming off the pump. We're going to fire it up and see if the pump can handle it, see how they go. You ready, Jack? Also, if need be, I could hook both these together into one line and have 300 feet of line to attack. Big one?
I don't know.
Oh no, you did the camera wet. I sure like that forestry stuff. With wildland firefighting, I'm having fun being back involved with it. We had a pretty good fire just a few days ago. A guy, we don't have our burn ban doesn't go into effect in this area until the 30th, June 30th, and so there are still a few people burning. Anyway, a brush pile got away from a guy. It was up burning about an acre or so, and had it not been for the rapid response of our department, as well as our mutual aid departments, he would have lost his house, and it possibly could have turned into an enormous conflagration. So, support your local volunteers. Click the thumbs up if you enjoy this. Thumbs up. Thumbs up helps helps us. It shows your support for the channel, and we appreciate that. So thank you. Lots of good videos to come. I've got more ideas than I have time, so I'll try to get those out as soon as possible. I owe Mrs. Wranglerstar a day in the garden tomorrow, so I might bring you along for that, but we'll just have to wait and see. So thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video.